Hey guys, my name's Kirneill. I'm going to show you how to get the most FPS and performance out of X-Defiant today. Now, if you are a person that is losing gunfights in game, if you're a person that's wondering why my bullets are like marshmallow, if you're a person that is basically dying around walls, then you really want to watch this entire video. Plus, I'll leave a secret tip to the end, basically on making sure that you get the best bullet registration possible. So make sure you stay tuned. So, basically, we're going to start just with the Ubisoft app, launch X-Defiant up with. Okay, so what you're going to do is click on the profile right here, click on settings, and then you want to copy my settings here. Notice that I don't have do not send crash reports or anything like that on. I want my computer fully focused on the game and nothing else here, and that's why I have these particular settings. And now you want to go to interface and you want to uncheck enable in-game overlay for supported games and disable FPS counter in game there, because X-Defiant has its own FPS counter in game and you really don't need this one here, and that's going to save you some FPS right there off the rip. I think it literally added 5 FPS for me right in 1 minute of this video here, so you want to watch the rest. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to here where it says manager at the top right, then you're going to go to property, and then you're going to go to downloads, and you're just going to copy this path folder and you're just going to save that for a little bit here. Now you're going to type in your Windows graphics settings, and this should pop up on Windows 10. You might see something a little different here. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to scroll down and you want to press browse. And then you want to copy and paste what we just copied from the X-Defiant app there. So basically, you're just going to copy and paste it in here in File Explorer. And then you're going to add all 3 of these to your graphics settings. So I'm just going to add these real quick. Perfect. Then you're going to click on options. You're going to put it on high performance. And that way the game knows to prioritize like your high performance GPU, and it's not using your internal graphics card, which could cost you some FPS and some performance even though it's on. That's going to be good right there. The next thing that we want to do, and I'm going to leave this link down below with all these files and instructions for it here. So the next thing that we want to do is I'm going to leave a file down below that is Nvidia Profile Inspector. Now what this does is it tells your GPU what to do. It's basically a manager of your GPU and your GPU driver, and it's going to get you way more FPS and make the game feel way smoother so you don't have that input delay that you feel on the game regularly. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up Nvidia Profile Inspector here, and then what you're going to do is press import profile, and for the profile you're going to import the competitive profile and press open, and then you're just going to press at the top right where it says apply. You're just going to click on that and you should be good there. So that's going to adjust all your Nvidia settings for your GPU. But I will say I would go to your Nvidia control panel, so you can just type in Nvidia control panel there, and the next thing that I would do is adjust desktop color settings. So basically a lot of people mess up, so make sure that you're listening to this here. A lot of people mess up here. Basically, make sure you change your monitor settings first, and then what you want to change is your Nvidia control panel settings. And this is the same thing for AMD as well. A lot of people change their Nvidia control panel settings or their AMD graphics card settings first, and they don't change or adjust their monitor settings to what they like first. So make sure that your monitor is in the correct mode, and then you adjust all the colors to your liking here. So that's going to be good right there. The next thing that you want to do is go to set up G-Sync if you do have that, and then I would actually think about this one for a second. So ask yourself the question, do I want a smoother game or do I want less input delay? So when you enable G-Sync, your game's going to feel way smoother in general, but you're going to have an added input delay, which can keep you at a disadvantage. When you disable G-Sync, like I do have right now, what happens is your game is actually just trying to spit out the fastest FPS or the fastest frame possible, and then you're getting the better input delay advantage. You actually have a decreased level of input delay there. So you really want to think about this. I would say most pros that we work at SENSEQUALITY usually disable G-Sync there, and it really helps with the input delay there. So all your managed 3D settings should be good. I just showed you the exact script to run that for, and I provided that in the link down below. So that's going to be good there. Now, what we're going to have to do is the in-game setting. So I'm just going to open this game up real quick, and this should be the really easy part here. I would say this is not going to be much. X-Defiant did a really great job of optimizing their game. So if you follow along with these game settings, you should be getting the most FPS possible. I've tested multiple on multiple PCs, and this is what gets the lowest input delay in my opinion from what we've seen so far, and the most FPS in your game here. So that should be good. One thing I would say is if you have background apps in Windows 10, just type in background background apps there, and make sure you disable all your background apps, and you should be good there. All right, so we are in the game here. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to your settings here, and what you're basically going to do is go to your video and graphics setting. Now, you want to make sure that your display resolution is matching your monitor. Mine is a 1440p monitor, so it's going to be 1440p. You want to make sure that your refresh rate is matching your monitor as well. Make sure that you're using a display cable. If you're not, HDMI cables are not going to give you as good of performance. Well, it might if you don't have like enough hertz there. So I would say leave triple buffering on. I would leave reduce latency on. Okay, so now there is Nvidia Reflex low latency. So basically, let me explain this to you real quick. So if you have a bad CPU, I would say not even bad, but your CPU is slower than your GPU, then I would leave Nvidia Reflex low latency on plus boost. Now, if your CPU is faster than your GPU, I would leave it on 99% of gamers, I would say, is fine on. Basically, I would do some testing in the private matches just to see which one actually works better for you. Just note that on is going to improve your overall latency, and I definitely recommend having this. Now, the brightness and contrast, this is personal preference. Again, adjust your monitor first, then your Nvidia settings, and then the in-game settings here. That is the correct way to do it. Don't do it the backwards way, or your game's just not going to look good, especially with colors. You want to enable DX12 renderer. That really helps a lot. Graphics quality, that's going to be custom. And VSync mode, definitely turn this off. Frame rate limit. Now, you can have a frame rate limit here if you would like, but if you have over 200 FPS, I would say turn that completely off, as you do not need it there. Now, spot shadows, I would leave all of this on low, because this not only puts pressure on your GPU, but also your CPU. Now, with this game, you gotta remember, this is a FPS first-person shooter game. So what you want to do is have everything render as fast as possible, so you can react as fast as possible. You like better quality and everything like that, that is no problem there. But this guide is about getting you the most FPS possible, and this is exactly the way to do it. Most pros play on low settings just so they can have less input delay, and then they could respond faster if an enemy shows up on their screen. Because if you're on low settings and on the same exact PC versus your PC on high settings, you're actually going to respond faster if you're on low settings there, which matters a lot for FPS games. So basically, you're going to want to put spot shadows on low, spot shadow resolution on low, contact shadows on off, resolution scale on 100%. Make sure you don't mess this one up, guys. Sharpening, I really like 7 there, but this is personal preference as well. Particle detail, I would say keep this on medium. That really helps a lot there. That way the game doesn't look absolutely horrible. Volumetric fog, low. Global reflection quality, low. Local reflection quality, honestly, I would just keep this on low there. If you want even more FPS, I would just turn this off in general. Vegetation quality, low. Subsurface scattering, off. Ambient occlusion, low. And most of this stuff, guys, it doesn't even make a difference in how the game looks. So definitely this wouldn't even affect the game that much. Object level of detail, I tested and played around with these settings. The best I found so far is object detail 1 and extra streaming distance 4. Now that could be personally for my GPU. I have a 4070 Ti, so I would just test around with this, but these two settings really do make a difference. I would say these make the biggest difference in this game here, but I would start off with this and then adjust it accordingly in private matches to see what works for you. Lens flare off, water quality low, chromatic aberration off, and terrain quality low as well. So that's going to be good there. Controller settings, that's going to be personal preference there, and keyboard settings are going to be personal preference, but that should cover all the in-game settings there. Now, the last thing that we're going to want to do is we're just going to want to make sure that we don't have a whole bunch of stuff running in the background of our game here. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in startup, and you're going to disable all the startup apps that you really don't use, and that way your PC has more resources going to your game rather than these random apps. So that's going to be good. Imagine like your car and you have like very large people in there. It's going to slow down your car in general. But if you just have you in the car and you're just driving, the car is going to be way smoother and it's going to perform way better there. So I really hope this helps, and if you need more help there, I would definitely check out SENSEQUALITY.com, where we definitely help out most professional gamers with their stream, with their bullet registration, and with seeing the enemies before they see you and getting the most performance out of your computer there. So I really truly do hope this helps, and let me know if you have any questions down below there. So make sure you like and subscribe, and you have a wonderful rest of your day.